25 times in 25 years that you'd like to be down to the last week or two and have a mathematical chance to compete for a conference championship. Because of the win at Maryland and a couple of big wins last week, we're in that position. Unfortunately, it's not all in our control, but I like the fact that we're in the position. I was very pleased with how we played in a tough environment. I think we're starting to play with a little Michigan State toughness instead of how we were playing for a while. We made some mistakes. We still turned the ball over a little bit too much in the first half, but we didn't let those mistakes carry on. Xavier's been terrific. I keep saying this for a week or two just because I saw it. If he isn't the best defensive player in this league, I don't know who is. But offensively, he's been very good too. He made some big-time plays. The 29 points we got out of our two freshmen, Rocket's getting better, Malik is getting better. Was encouraging. And I thought we got some minutes out of Arns and Kithier. He's showing that he's been better and better. The next chore is to get a little bit more out of Frosty and to get Cash a little rest and get a little bit more out of Gabe Brown. I mean, I think that is critical for us moving forward, especially in a game like this with the wing guys they have. As far as Penn State, they've lost a couple of games this week, but don't read into it. It's just like everybody else. Everybody goes through that stretch. It's who you play and where you play them and when you play them. And the Big Ten has made the scheduling so difficult for all of us in that respect. They play well at home, 14-2 at home. Everybody knows that. And have some big, strong guys up front with a hard matchup with Stevens. I mean, he's big enough to go against your big guys, and he's athletic enough and puts it on the floor well enough to go against your guards. I think he is one of the best players in the league. He's averaging 18 and 7 rebounds. But the threat that I also worry about are all those other wings have had moments when they've really shot the ball well. They're very good on transition on the break. And Watkins, when he's in the game, they're going to him. All right? He plays 20 minutes a game. But when he's in there, he's getting touches. I think what we haven't realized is the last 6 games, Myron Jones, who all he did against us was go 6 for 8, not from the 3, and almost single-handedly beat us. He's now played in 1 game, so that should give him a better warm-up for our game, which is typical. So I think he scored 20 against us. He hit 6 threes. He was playing some of the best basketball. He was second leading scorer, and I guess he went out with mono or something and missed 6 games. Played in the last game quite a few minutes, 23 or 24, and now he'll be raring to go for us. So I am excited. I really am. I think that in life you get a chance to do some things. I told my team we've got to figure out how to play for the players that have been here, how to play for the program, how to play for our fans, how to play for their family, and most of all, how to play for their teammates. But when you get in a position like this, I think you got a chance to maybe work to accomplish something that seldom happens, and that's we've been through more adversity than Carter got liver pills. We all know that in a lot of different ways, but we didn't hang our heads. We stuck in the fight. I would ask all the Twitter people, don't compliment our guys this week. Don't insult them. Just let them go. And I told them that the same people that are the same people that were killing you. So hopefully we've learned some lessons. Hopefully we've stayed focused. And to finish like this, I don't know how many ranked teams we're going to play in the end. Max, Matt, you guys. I mean, I think down the stretch we played like 6 out of 7 or maybe more. And maybe it's that way with total. But you got 2 more ranked teams coming in. 1 at their place, Penn State, 1 at home. So it doesn't get any easier, but it's 1 at a time, like we said at Maryland, and we're looking forward to the game.
I wrestled the microphone away from him. So.
I know her, Larry.
She gave me a stink eye like my wife gives me.
I gave a really bad hairy eyeball. So give me kind of a sense, Tom, was Saturday kind of the high watermark for you guys as far as the way you played?
You know,
Just the way you played, and then second part of that, 2 questions, and then I won't take it back. Do you feel like maybe you're a little bit over the hump, March has sunk in, and your guys are ready to go?
as I told our media, but I think it was their media that asked it, you know, I don't know, the March thing is cool and something to hang your hat on, and, you know, why will Izzo's teams be better in March? To me, it's almost saying, why doesn't Izzo do anything in November, December, January, February? But at the same time, so I don't think it's that. I don't think we're over a hump. I mean, gosh, we still had some bad turnovers the first half. But I think we learned that if we kind of really were, you know, pulling from one another a little bit more, and we kind of overcame some of the issues, and that's taking a step in the right direction. I mean, in this league, every time you feel good, I mean, I felt good after Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota. You know, we were playing some of our best basketball, and all of a sudden we went to Purdue and lost by 100. So in this league, I'm never going to feel good till the league's over. And but I am feeling like we have different guys making progress, and I believe in Cassius. You know, I still think, you know, like, it's the first time he said to me, those 3 turnovers were ridiculous. And of course, in a very polite way, I totally agreed with him. But if he sees it and knows it, I ain't worried about him. And Xavier, he's been playing great. The guy we needed to step up into the more of the Butler, Batman, or Robin mold was Aaron, and he's been a lot more consistent in the last 5-6 games. He's consistent defensively. He's getting to the boards more. He's scoring a little bit more. So I think that's been a great help. And even though Kyle Arns has still been a little up and down, he brings a little bit to the table of. He and Kithier bring something that it's solidness is the best word I can come up with. They're kind of very solid. Xavier knows what they're going to do. Cassius knows what they're going to do. So it's been a combination of a lot of things. Did we take a giant step? Sure, you go there on game day. Some of you that were there, the crowd was off the chain. We made some progress, but not ready to start sleeping nights or something.
You kind of alluded to Kyle and earlier talked about Gabe needing to play a little better. I guess from him and also from Bingham, was there, and I'm sure there was some frustration with the 3 that you took, but was there some positive with the toughness of getting in Smith's face?
You know, I don't know. I wish I knew what happened totally there, but I guess I did like the fact that, you know, in talking about Marcus, I like the fact that he didn't back down from anybody. I mean, we need that on this team. As far as the 3, you know, people got to understand, when you're shooting 11%, you don't feel comfortable with somebody shooting a 3. And, you know, and that means that coach is holding him back. And no, that's not true. I mean, if you shoot well in practice and you shoot well in the game, that's what's going to happen. I think he understands now that he can do more. You know, the Illinois game, he had 12 rebounds, 5 or 6 block shots, did a hell of a job, and went 0 for 2 from the field and played 20-some minutes. So, you know, Marky and I had a long talk Sunday, and, you know, he practiced good today. I just keep forgetting how young they are. But maybe I got a group with some of those sophomores that are young and is immature a bad word? I don't think so. You know, I can think of some pretty damn good players I had here that were immature as sophomores. In fact, a lot of them. You know, we just changed the process so much that we expect everybody to be great. But I still have faith in Markey. I think this is a game because they have 2 bigs down low. It's easier game to play in. If it's giving away the scouting report, I don't want him jacking 3s right now. And you know what? He is a good shooter. He's going through a tough time, and it's not the time to experiment during the games. The games are too tight. So I think we've got that worked out. But I do think he'll play a little bit more, and because he has some things to offer against 2 really big guys, especially in Watkins, who can really score it in there.
after the Iowa game, you looked genuinely excited about the next game. Did you kind of sense a performance like that could be coming?
You know, I made some dumb statements in my life, many of them in fact, but, you know, I did give one of them to the players that day that I said if we can beat Iowa, you know, we're going to beat Maryland. And that sounds arrogant and cocky, and it's not, because I have tremendous respect for Maryland. But I just felt like, number one, we were building a little bit. Number two, I think my team needs to know and understand. That's why I came up with that thing a couple weeks ago. You know, along with immaturity sometimes goes lack of confidence. Along with experience goes lack of confidence. So, you know, some of it was trying to prove to them. Some of it was my whole staff. I just said, this is going to be the mentality going in. And now I look at it like we get a chance to do something that, forget basketball players or football or athletes, people in general. You know, can you get up one more time than you've been knocked down? The old adage, the old saying, and trust me when I say we were knocked a lot. And we've been hanging and getting up, and, you know, we got a couple of rungs on that ladder to go now.
I think it was the second half of the Iowa game. They had reported on the broadcast that you had said something to Cassius about, hey, you need your best player to have more than 1 point. His evolution this whole season has been the story in itself, but is he starting to see maybe the end of his career here, and maybe is that helping him maybe focus some of his energy in the positive?
Well, I think everybody does when you get to be a senior and you look at it, but his has been so clouded that I'm not sure, but that was a profound thing to say, wasn't it? You know, if you go score 1 point in the second half, it'd be nice if you. So I'm not sure that was any thing that'll go down in the archives as one of the great speeches of all time. It was just an honest statement to a kid that I have a lot of respect for and I believe in. But he is, you know, I mean, he's practicing a little different. He's getting that swagger back will be important for him. And as I've said, you know, for 3.5 months, I mean, I can encourage it. I don't always understand it, but I always will be there for him. And that's kind of the way I've approached the whole year. And sometimes I bite a few fingers off because I want to be able to help him through things. But I think right now he's about as focused in as I've seen him in the 3 months. It's because at the end, is it because maybe he's a man of March? Is it because he's tasted some of the things that he got to taste last year and it tasted pretty good? He'd like to make a little run here. So I don't know. It's never a good feeling when you don't have destiny in your own hands. And right now we don't. But I know this: we have a chance until we lose. So we have some of the destiny in our own hands.
Tom, Mark Turgeon is not a guy prone to hyperbole, and after the game he seemed genuinely stunned when he said that wasn't the Michigan State team that he had played here in East Lansing. What do you credit most to the next step these guys have taken?
I think we're a little tougher. I think we've had to do it so many different ways. You know, I've coached different. I mean, I think everybody would agree with that, or most people. You know, trying to get those young guys around. You know, maybe getting Julius in there a little bit more. He brings some of that. Kithier brings some of that. But I think Xavier has a lot to do with it. He's been a man-child in there. You know, he's defended by himself against two very, very, very good post guys. I mean, this week he might guard a post, he might guard Stevens. You know, he might have to guard a perimeter guy kind of now. He's been the most versatile player on my team, and he's probably been the most consistent, steadiest. And I think that has helped. I think Rocket getting, you know, we have two real good defenders in there, three with Xavier, but with Henny and with Aaron and Rocket, we got two potential lockdown defenders, and he still find a way to score some points. You know, what I'd like to see now is take that toughness to start dominating on the boards and not just winning. Because the rebounding has hurt us in some of the games we've lost too, as we all know. So turnover and rebounding will still be a key. But I think I've got a little bit a tougher team that has grown up a little bit.
Tom, you mentioned just a minute ago, you guys getting back up off the mat after some things, and now you're going to a Penn State team that's lost 3 or 4. They're playing their senior night with guys like Stevens and Watkins their last game. It's just kind of, is that just kind of the way it is?
Yeah, does every game have to be a celebration, you know, a jersey night, a shirt night, a president's coming to town night? I mean, you know, I guess that's a compliment. I don't know. I don't like the compliment as much anymore, but
But I mean, this is a team that's going to be fighting
oh yeah, they're going to be
crazy
fighting.
too, the same way you guys are.
But we're going to be fighting too.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel a little different about. I agree with you. And I don't look at them as being any different of a team. I just look at they hit their 3 out of 4 that we might have hit in the middle of the year, that Ohio State and Michigan hit at the beginning of the year. Everybody's gone through it in this conference. Illinois hit it later in the year. I'd say the 5 or 6 teams that are somewhat contenders, everybody's hit it. Wisconsin was so bad early. You know, he's done an incredible job there. A lot of good coaching jobs done, but some of it, I mean, I hate to blame it because I'll take abuse, but the schedule has been bizarre. And, you know, when you have stretches like we did with 3 home games and then 5 out of 6 on the road or whatever it is, 4 out of 5, there's going to be some losses in there, especially on who you play. You know, we don't play everybody twice. It's hard for a fan, a media member, or a coach to look at his team and say, wow, we're good, or wow, we're not very good, because it's all dependent on that schedule. And that's why that one day I gave you guys that thing to look at, because it hasn't gotten enough play, or how difficult it is when you have a unbalanced schedule to start with. Now you go to 20 games, and then you have some bizarre things that to some of the teams, including us, where you're playing 3 in a row one way or 3 in a row the other, makes it more difficult. So I think Penn State, I mean, it's senior night. They've got some seniors that have made that program. You know, it reminds me of the Cleves, Peter, you know, era, where you had Peterson and guys like that built your whole program. I mean, you look at Penn State basketball, this has been some of the best years in a long time. And so, yeah, they're going to be an all-time high. They still have a chance. They're just as mathematically in it as we are, really. I mean, everybody's got a chance that still has a mathematical chance. And I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be their physical to start with. They have a bunch of junkyard dogs, man. I love his team. It's those wings play so hard. Stevens is, you know, almost came out twice, and he's still there. And by the way, what a great move on his part to be like he is. You know, what a great move. Guy in Maryland, you know, he stayed in school. A guy in Kentucky, and now they're having big time years. And nobody's having a better year in our league than Stevens, and he's kind of deserved it, earned it.
Going back to being a tougher team, it's definitely ramped up against Iowa and in this last game. But you mentioned when the 2000 team was here for that Maryland game that they had talked to the guys in the locker room about all of that. So have you seen it? How has that helped them realize that to get back to the brand of basketball that you guys pride yourselves on? Or where is just, I guess, this coming from, this whole toughness getting?
Well, I've tried to be a little different. You know, I've tried to, as they say, take the gloves off a little bit. I think that anytime you have the Cleveses and Anaganyes and people like that come back and they talk to them, most of the time I wasn't there, so I couldn't even tell you what they talked about, and that's the way everybody wanted it, but including me. But I think some of his maturity, you know, we're getting older. Freshmen aren't sophomores anymore. Some of it is I've decided that I can't, I gotta be me, they gotta be them, I got a job to do, they got a job to do. There's probably a bazillion reasons. All I know is it is happening. Now, the next thing is, can we maintain that, and can we do that consistently? And that'll be the job of myself, my staff, Cash, Aaron, or Kyle, and Xavier. I think the players got to hold players accountable too. But it's exciting. It's exciting to be in this position. we could play awfully good and lose both games, as everybody knows. But we've made some progress now that I think we can build on. We need a little help, but we got to help ourselves first before we can wish for anything else.
Rockets' work on the defensive end is obviously acclaimed and has become pretty consistent. I'm wondering, offensively, it looked like only one bad shot, and that was the one that got stuck. Are you almost happy when he takes that shot and it's stuck in between the glass and the rim to remind him, because not to take those?
Rock's he's come so far in learning what a good shot and a bad shot is. And, he's one of those guys that he really, I think you guys see it because you're just talking about it. I mean, he's come so far with that step back between the leg, jacking his shots. You don't see that. He's starting to drive the ball a little more, which he is really hard to stay in front of. I don't care who's guarding him. And he's getting a little better with that ball now and getting shots that he's getting the ball ready. I've been so pleased with his progress. And defensively, when you take a guy that was a good offensive player, defensively, he's made giant swings. But he has, you talk in answering questions about our toughness. He brings that Detroit Flint dog mentality that he's going to get after. There's some of the arguments in huddles with him are, I don't need help. I want us to get, let me guard this guy, let me guard that guy. That was old school for me, man. I used to have 4 guys that would fight me and they all wanted to guard somebody, I don't quite have that yet, but I'm getting one that wants to on a consistent basis. Xavier's the other one. And so, I think maybe those are reminders, but I think he's learning every day, spending more time in your shooting. He's been, I think a lot of people questioned, even when we got him, or what he would be like for a million reasons. He's been a treat, man. I actually enjoy having that kid around because I know I got a warrior. I know I got a guy that I get in a foxhole with him any day. I'll turn my back to anybody if I got him sitting there with me because he's best of him is yet to come.
Tom, I got 2 things for you. Cassius, so much of the discussion, maybe preseason, was about keeping him fresh and his body from wearing down. Obviously, that changed for serious reasons. I'm just curious, how is he physically, and how have you noticed that? Have you done anything special, I guess, to sort of keep him fresh amid a lot of unusual things?
Yeah. I've tried, but I think what you're trying to say, and I agree with you, is I can do some things in practice, or I haven't done a good job in a game, but he finds ways to, figure out where he can take some time off in that. I don't think it's the physical grind that's gotten him at all this year. I think it's the mental grind and that, and the lack of sleep and all those things that have really been difficult for him. But I did say going down the stretch here, now we get into games where you're playing even more games in a row, then you get into the Big Ten tournament, then you get in the NCAA tournament, Probably I haven't done a good enough job getting Foster more and more ready. He's had some good games early and he struggled some, and so it's hard for him to have confidence if I don't have confidence. And so I got to do a better job there, because that, if we can just get Cash, a couple minutes, and get him a minute when there's a timeout, and get him a couple minutes, and all of a sudden he's playing 32 or 3 instead of 37 or 8, I think it would benefit us, him, and everybody else.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you just really quick, completely unrelated to that, did you consider at all doing the 2-game stay on the road thing, especially with spring break, and why or why not, I guess?
Yeah, I did. In fact, we were really going to do that. And then, when you're in Washington, D.C., and a little more difficult to practice, and so far from everything, it was a 50-minute ride to the airport, It's home for Mex, but the rest of us are like, Iron Mountain, you go around the corner, you get to the police station, you go the other way to high school, you take a little jog to the right, you get to the hospital, and jail's over on the left. So you got them all right there, they're all within a couple blocks, and And we just felt like, because it is spring break, there wouldn't be as many distractions here, but we get a lot done. Could have different practices, meetings, film sessions here without having to travel. So I think it was a good decision, just like I think it was a good decision to go to Indiana, I probably should have had Xavier sleep at my house last night so he get a good night's sleep, but other than that, everybody else, I think it's worked out pretty good. We got home late, we didn't even have a meeting till 1:30. I think we're pretty fresh, I really do, and I think it's all worked out pretty well.
With the toughness, it seems like the last two games, the Malik has kind of been a big part of that component. It seems like he's kind of cracked the shell a little bit. What do you think has caused that, the emergence from that?
Those freshmen are all kind of, personalities are kind of, well, Rockets is more like mine, the other guys are more, it's kind of, and we told him he's got to get more aggressive, he's got to be, he can guard. I mean, he's like a Brandon Dawson. He can guard guards and he can guard bigs, and so we just spent a little more time with him. We talked to him about it. We, playing him a little bit more. Him back in the starting lineup. I mean, it's still going to be, we could play Illinois in the tournament and start Markey. I mean, that's going to happen. But I think he's now feeling like he's got a spot and that he's got a value to this team. And I think he is a tough kid. He's a very athletic kid. And he's learning how to play harder. I think Xavier has done a really good job with him. And Kith here, he spends a lot of time, and they have the ability to do that. Markey is going to have the ability to do that, I'm telling you. That kid gets one more summer under his belt. He's going to be, he'll be shooting threes, he'll be rebounding the ball, he'll be blocking shots. It's just that he's almost lost weight every month here because he's during season, and he's got the problem that most of us wish we had, right? But I think that's why it's been better for him, I hope.
After the game at Maryland, Rocket talked about his growth, and he said he's learned the better defense he plays, the better offensive opportunities that he gets. To have heard him say that comparing where he started the season, how much does that say about his change? And he said it was you drilling him with it.
Yeah, he's able to take a little criticism the right way. He struggled with that early. Every once in a while, he's still like, wants to fight City Hall. But again, I'm just the type of coach, I kind of like that, to a certain extent. But I think he's realized he's getting shots on the break because we defend better, we rebound better. I think he realizes that taking the ball to the basket has been a big thing and doing things that maybe were more unconventional for him. The guarding, he's starting to rebound a little bit as a guard. He's really learned how to run that lane. He was pathetic at it early in the year. And if you took a guy and you said he went from D to A, or C to A, I mean, he's made about as good a progress. And yet, he'll still take a bad shot and he'll still make a defensive lapse because he reminds me of Keith Appling in the way that he gets into a guy and he doesn't realize sometimes we're going under screen. Sometimes he just walks in. And he locks in. He's like a lamprey on a lake trout, He's on there and he ain't moving. And so he's got to learn how to do some of those things, but he's receptive to it now. I think he had enough success that he says, maybe these guys aren't insane. Maybe they actually can help me.
Anything else?
Sorry, was that lamprey on a lake trout?
Lamprey. How much you ever, those lamprey like bloodsuckers, they get on.
I added to the list, man.
Just add to the list. Aren't you happy that I improved your vocabulary over the years? Got a couple more off the scene that I'll give you, but those are pretty good for one's on. But hey, I'll just close by saying, for me, this is big on how we play. Winning is important. I swear to you, I remember sitting in that back room when Andre and them were here in the fourth Big Ten championship, and we needed Ohio State to win on a Thursday. And all jumping around and we're cheering, and maybe I've matured, maybe I'm getting old, maybe not. But the difference was, we were one game out, there were 3 teams that were really close. We dug ourselves a hole, so I did not jump around when Minnesota blew that lead. I didn't. I just said, if we do our job and beat Maryland, and then now you got to do your job again and win this game, then at least the odds are with you that, maybe you deserve getting something. And yet, I'm so looking forward to trying to get that, but I'm more looking forward, is this team getting better now? And are we making some progress? And are we going to be in the right place at the right time to, that Big Ten tournament is going to be, I think it'll be tougher than the NCAA tournament, at least to start with. We could be damn good and be a 5 or 6 seed in that thing, and who are you going to play that you're going to go home and say, oh good, we get to play so-and-so. And that probably isn't happening. So it's of all the lessons I've learned over the last few years, what we've gone through, what Cash has gone through, we so much forget about Josh, what he's gone through. It's taught me a lot. Kyle Arndt, ready to give up basketball and then, fighting through one more time and kind of dealing with his injuries and questioning whether he'd be able to walk later on in life. I think it's been a good life lesson for all of us, and hopefully you've enjoyed them. Given you a lot. We still make some crazy plays. We still turn it over a little too much, but we're making progress, and we haven't let people get us down, and that's a great quality that those guys will take with years to come. So appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you guys at Penn State.